I'm Layla. Welcome to Raid Lore Stories. Today's lore story is going to be for Harima. I'm really excited about this. She did not have a lore story for the longest period of time, and now she does. So let's read it together. Harima grew up laboring in the mines the Makaj were carving into Yakai. Despite the hardships she faced, she steadfastly endured while so many around her broke, refusing to give up on the hope of freedom. While the excavation of iron ore was the primary purpose of the mine where Harima toiled, it was also the location of a portal to the infernal realm of Anathrad, and its overseer, a brutal demon spawn named Zeomani the Delver, had a taste for other diversions, especially pit fighting and gladiatorial challenges staged between workers and slaves brought from other mines. These were indulged with Makaj's other leaders, as the most successful combatants could be conspired into the Makaj's armies, and the presence of the portal in Zeomani's mines made him an important member of the autocracy. Despite her young age, Harima soon proved herself a capable fighter in Zeomani's combat bouts. Still, the Demon's Bond required even the best potential warriors to continue laboring in the mines until the next recruiters from Makaj's armies visited. In a way, this was fortunate for Harima, for one day, the section she had been assigned to excavate yielded an unexpected discovery. A long-buried, dirt-encrusted bag proved to contain a deo, a weapon with a spear-like shaft and a long, curving blade. Its style was akin to that of the ancient weapons of Yakai, but it was still wickedly sharp and showed no signs of rust or decay. Harima concealed the weapon back in the cut she was excavating, covering it with rubble. She kept it a secret, for she knew Zeomani would not only seize it from her, but might well also use it to execute her. Harima continued her labors, covertly moving the weapon with her the further into the mine she progressed. Her star continued to rise in the fighting pits, but all the while she worked to secretly foment rebellion, laying plans that would see Zeomani banished and the mine slaves freed. Eventually, the day came when Harima felt confident enough to strike. Smuggling the deo to the edge of the arena in one of the rubble carts used in the mines, she waited until Zeomani was seated on his throne before the pulsing portal to Anathrad before claiming she had a gift for him, recovered from the mines. In his vanity, Zeomani permitted her to approach carrying the dirty bag, only for her to whip the deo free. The blade proved as keen as she had hoped and lent its razor edge to her strength. With a single fell blow, Harima cut Zeomani's head from his shoulders. Uproar gripped the mine as the workers Harima had hatched her schemes with seized the opportunity to rise up. The uprising would likely have been crushed, but the guards had not been accounted for Harima's ferocity or the weapon that she seemed to wield as though she had trained with it all her life. She blocked the entrance to the portal, its magical energy suffering her as she slew all who sought to escape. After the last of the demon spawn attempted to cross through their slain, the miners collapsed a section of the cavern upon the doorway between dimensions, burying it in a cave-in. In the bloody aftermath of the uprising, Harima, though touched by the darkness of Siroth's realm, stood victorious. She took Zeomani's head as a trophy and bound it to her belt. After gaining her freedom, Harima decided to continue her resistance against the autocracy's rule. She carried on hunting Makaj autocrats and their followers. Zeomani's death and the closing of the portal had given her a purpose, and her renown rapidly grew as she added more of Siroth's minions to her tally. The famous helm of the Dawnlands, which had belonged to the chief of one of the clans of old, she retook from the demonic Marshal Rue, while the cloak of jade feathers, a symbol of ancient Yakai kinship, she liberated from the black citadel of Akoda. Soon, she was known as the Knight of the Dawnlands and the Arch-Demon Slayer, a modern Yakai fable that struck fear into even the most arrogant of demonkind. Although the Makaj were eventually overthrown by the forces of rebellion, Harima found that her work was still far from done. She continued to hunt down Makaj demon spawn who evaded the purge, severing their heads and sealing shut the portals they used to attempt to bring more of their kind to Yakai. Her destruction was soon eagerly sought by the demons of Anathrad, and yet she continued to prove to be the bane of every spawn of Siroth set against her. Wow, guys, I gotta say, I like this story about her. And so it explains, now we know whose head this is, right? So it explains whose head this is, but I also like that it explains how she has such really cool armor, right? How she has this special helmet, how she ends up having this cloak and where the spear came from. I think they did a really, really good job of just fleshing out this story for Harima. I really like this one. I think this is probably like one of the better ones. Drop me some comments down below what you think of this lore story. Thank you so much for watching.